Good morning, guys. Hey, it's Jason with Goal Crazy. Hope everybody is doing great this morning. I just wanted to quickly talk about the start of the month. Today's March 1st, so I wanted to give everybody some tips for getting their month started. And so if you don't have your planner, go ahead and grab it. As you know, that at the beginning of the month, I have a couple things I want to talk on. I want to touch on just some tips for planning out your month. Occasionally I'll get questions for kind of how those pages work, or maybe there's some areas that you don't really use yet because you're not entirely sure how to use all the monthly planning pages. So you can follow along, and I want to talk about another quick little thing about giving yourself a reward. We're coming up on, not only is this the start of another month, but this is the last month of the quarter. So I want to talk to you guys about rewarding yourself and making the most out of this month. Good morning, Bunny. Great to have you with us. So let's start with the beginning of the month. We're going to have our end of the month reflection. And I'm just going to touch on a couple things this morning and let you guys plan out your months on your own. So I want you, when you're planning out your day-to-day, to schedule a time. If you don't schedule it, it probably won't happen. I want you to schedule a time to plan out your month, to set these goals, to reflect on your previous month, and review your quarterly goals for sure, since it is the last month of the quarter. But a couple things I want to touch on. So on your end of the month reflection, we've got all these different questions, and lots of them are similar to what we've done for our weekly reflections. We've got our biggest accomplishments for last month, and we always want to be acknowledging all the things we did accomplish rather than just focusing on the things that we didn't accomplish. So this will help to build your confidence. What I intended to do but didn't do, great question. Biggest challenges. This is one of my favorite questions, and what I would encourage you to do this month is to go back into your previous months. Maybe it was the first month of the planner, or if you're on your 6th Goal Crazy planner, go back to one of your previous planners and open up to one of the months and find this biggest challenges section. And I want you to look at what you had wrote there. Because one of the most rewarding things about that section is to look back on it and to see these challenges that at the time they seemed huge. They seemed like impossible challenges. I will look back on these and I'll see things I wrote and I thought, I don't know how I'm ever going to overcome this. Or I don't know how I'm ever going to figure this out. And to be able to look back on those and to see, wow, I was so worried about this at the time and it all came together and I figured it out. It's going to really boost your confidence to take on more challenges. Lots of times I feel like when I'm filling in this box for biggest challenges, it's like I can already see in my head when I'm going to be looking back on this several months and knowing how I overcame it. So I'm going to encourage you guys, before you fill out that section for this month, go look back on your previous months or on a previous planner and see what were some of the big challenges that you had that you overcame. Biggest opportunities, a lot of times, again, all we focus on is the challenges that we have, and we don't ask ourselves, what are the opportunities that I have available to me right now to overcome it? It's kind of like this section when you're planning out your most impactful goal. This is a blank planner I'm using today, but this section where you've got biggest obstacles or possible obstacles and possible solutions. It's kind of like, as you're looking at your challenges, what are the opportunities you have available to you to overcome them? Then what will I do differently this month? Obviously, if nothing changes, nothing will change. So what are you going to do differently this month to have some change in your life? Something quick I want to talk about so once you fill out your end of the month reflection, you've got your actual goal setting pages. You're going to touch on the different areas of your life. And something that I like to do is I like to make myself these little barometers. So if you remember in the beginning, you have this barometer that you make. I'm going to show you here in my own planner so I can write in it. And I really like those because it gives me an easy way to see my progress, to kind of hold myself accountable, acknowledge, I guess, my accomplishments as I'm working towards a goal. So something that I like to do, let's say one of my goals is to run 6 times throughout the week. might make a little barometer. Not the best drawer here. Run, and I draw a box with 6 squares in it. And every time I go on a run throughout that month, I'm going to fill a little square in. So as I'm going on my 6 runs that I want to throughout the month, I can visually see my progress getting closer to that goal, if that makes sense. And a lot of times I might have 3 or 4 of these throughout the month. Maybe I have, multiple different goals, and this helps me to quantify them, hold myself accountable, and see my progress. And it's rewarding to be able to fill in one of those little squares and move myself closer to my goal. So that's something that I do. And then the last page for our monthly planning is our monthly overview. And I've had people kind of ask me about this section, or maybe they use their phone still for their calendar, and they just use the Goal Crazy for their goals, which is completely great. I can say in a lot of ways I still use my phone for certain types of events. I definitely like these sections for mapping out my deadlines for myself. However, what I really love about this page is this section right over here to the right. Sometimes this is the only part of it that I use. And kind of similar to when we plan out our week, instead of starting my month out with just this long list of goals and things I want to accomplish, being able to have that tab on the left there, it helps me to say, instead of, this week trying to focus on 6 different things, I can say, I'm going to make this the focus during the first week of the month. I'm going to focus on this the second week of the month, and this on the third week of the month. So again, I can kind of, instead of feeling overwhelmed with all these goals for the month, I can kind of break it up. Or maybe I break a goal down into the steps and use this section to do it. Maybe one of the goals I wrote for myself was to get a shed in my backyard, right? Maybe week 1 I decide, week 1 I'm going to go to the store and pick out a shed. Week 2 I'm going to build the shed. Week 3 I'm going to paint the shed. And week 4 I'm going to put all my stuff in the shed. I could break it down into the different steps. So I really like the weekly parts there for the weekly overview. Extremely helpful. But the last thing I want to talk about today is rewarding yourself. Because it is the last week of the quarter, the last month of the quarter, I think it's just something really important. And I know it comes up a little bit in the Life Crash Course on the barometer page. It talks about creating a reward for yourself. But I just want to talk more about this because I do think it is extremely important. So I want you to, if you've got your planner there with you, open up to your most impactful goal pages. They're pages 27 and 28 in the Life Crash Course. These sections here. I've got a blank planner, so hopefully yours is filled out. And I want you to think about what can you do to reward yourself for accomplishing this goal. Obviously, just accomplishing it is a reward in itself, right? If your goal is to save up, this month, quarter, if you want to save 10 grand into a savings account, that's awesome. That's a reward in itself. But I want you to pick something else. Maybe you tell yourself, hey, if I save up this money, I am going to go buy myself a nice dinner. Or a lot of times I'll set a goal and say, hey, if I hit this goal, I'm going to go buy myself a new suit. I don't know why, but I find that very motivating. Or if it's a big goal, maybe I say I'm going to take a short trip or a weekend just completely off, a long weekend, and go somewhere. And lots of times those little rewards that I give to myself are almost just as motivating as hitting the actual goal in itself. And once you accomplish a goal and you give yourself that reward, it just re-energizes you, and it makes you want to go achieve something else. It's not like, okay, hit that goal, check it off the list, what am I going to do next? Because a lot of times these goals, they're really going to push your comfort zone. They're going to make you uncomfortable, they're going to require a lot of work. So giving yourself that reward is a really important mental component to give you guys energy to want to go work towards another big goal again. So I want you to take some time today, obviously set your goals for this month, and come up with a reward. If you hit your most impactful goal, which, as it kind of talks about in there, ideally it would be a 90-day goal, so we're coming up on the end of our first quarter, I want you to come up with a reward that you're going to give yourself for hitting that. It doesn't have to be something big. Maybe it's, say, I'm just going to take myself out to a nice dinner, or I'm going to go buy myself a new shirt. Whatever it is, come up with a reward and then create some sort of visual reminder for that reward. I'll print out, if I'm working on, maybe my reward to myself is getting the new suit, I'll print it out, hang it up on my bathroom mirror, hang it up, a picture of it right in front of my desk. And it's just a constant reminder of, I'm going to get myself that suit if I hit this goal. And it's very motivating. All right, so that's all I've got for you guys for today. I hope everybody has a great start to March and is able to do all that they need to do to hit their most impactful goal for the quarter that's coming up. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. But otherwise, schedule time today to not only plan your month, but to come up with what is going to be your reward for hitting that goal this month. All right, guys, have a good one. Thanks.